A fitness tracker literally saved my friend's life at 2 a.m. And I went from a quarter of a mile a day to 25,000 steps a day because of a tracker. I spent 6 months researching and testing 4 different fitness trackers, and the results shocked me. I'm Carrie Stone, and 10 years ago, I was bedridden, barely able to walk from my bed to the bathroom and back again. My doctor wanted to track my steps, and that first reading was devastating. Only 1/4 of a mile for the entire day. But that fitness tracker became my wake up call, and it changed everything. Now I regularly hit 15,000 to 25,000 steps a day, and I'm going to show you which tracker gave me the best results. Before we get started, I'll share a little bit of my tracker story with you. So as I said, it was a little over 10 years ago that I bought my first Fitbit, and it got me motivated. And since that time, I have been a Fitbit fan. So I've been using Fitbit loyally and religiously for the last 10 plus years. Back in the fall, I had decided I really kind of wanted to try out an Oura Ring. So I set a goal for myself and decided when I hit a certain level of subscribers, I would buy myself the Oura Ring. And so that is what I did. And in January, I purchased my first Oura Ring with the intention of comparing it to the Fitbit and doing a video about it. Well, at the same time, my sister bought the Whoop. And so I said, okay, we're going to take notes and compare and contrast the Whoop with the Oura Ring with the Fitbit. And then my daughter went from being a loyal Fitbit user to using an Apple Watch. And so I thought, oh, great, now we have the Apple Watch covered too. So I've been asking her questions, talking to my sister, comparing and contrasting, and also hearing stories from other people. And at the same time, I researched in depth online as much information as I could find for all 4 fitness trackers. So let's answer the question, why do women over the age of 50 need to wear a fitness tracker? Well, as I said in the beginning of the video, an Apple Watch literally saved my friend's life. So my friend Jen always wears an Apple Watch. So one night she's watching TV and her Apple Watch kept going off and giving her alerts about her heart. And she's like, my watch is glitching, it's not working right. I need to get a new one. And it kept happening. And then her husband noticed it was happening. And so he said, put my watch on and let's see if it does the same thing. And it did. Thank goodness he did that, because he then decided we're going to the hospital. So they went to the hospital and they discovered that she was in the fight for her life. Her heart was not working properly. And those heart irregularities that showed up in her Apple Watch were very, very serious. So she has told me that Apple Watch saved her life, and she is so grateful for it. But there are 7 other key reasons why people wear fitness trackers. Fitness trackers can increase your physical activity. Fitness trackers will encourage you to get movement by sending you notifications that you need movement. Recently, I was in a car for 2 straight days, and one of the days it was 11 hours, and my Oura Ring and my Fitbit kept telling me, for the love of God, woman, get up and move. And I was like, I know, right? I'm stuck in this car and I can't do anything about it. It was driving me nuts. Fitness trackers will tell you when you need to get up off your bum and get some movement. They also track your steps and then help you to set your daily activity goals. The second thing is health monitoring. Not only can they save your life like they did for my friend, but many of the trackers will help you monitor your heart rate, your blood oxygen levels, your sleep patterns, and they'll provide useful information for your overall health. From everything that I've researched, it appears as though the Apple Watch and the Whoop are the best ones if you have heart issues or you're concerned about that, maybe you have a family history of heart issues, then I would advise you stick with Apple or Whoop. The third reason is improved sleep quality. By tracking sleep patterns, users can identify potential sleep disturbances and they can work towards improving their sleep hygiene. I know that's what I did when I started wearing the Fitbit, and I started using it for more than just a step counter. And it was the thing that helped me to start taking control of my sleep. I have found both the Fitbit and the Aura to be helpful when it comes to improving my sleep hygiene. But I will say that I have been comparing the two for 6 months. And to me, it appears that the Aura is a lot more reliable than the readings I get from my Fitbit. Fitness trackers can also be a great motivational tool, especially if you are competitive like some of us are. Trackers can be a good source of motivation by providing feedback on your progress and setting goals and encouraging consistent exercise. They also offer data-driven insights. The data collected by fitness trackers can help users understand their physiology and their bodies, especially trackers like Aura. The Aura Ring, I noticed they take like 2 to 3 weeks to figure your body out. And once they figure it out, the information you get about your very own body is astounding. They not only give you information about your body, but then they give you the information you need to improve whatever it is that's going on in your body. And I find that to be priceless. So I have to say, I think Aura wins in this area, hands down. Fitness trackers can also give you more enhanced awareness. Trackers can increase your self-awareness of your daily activity levels. It is really hard to declare you got 10 miles in today when you look at your tracker and see that you only got a mile in. You can't really lie to yourself a whole lot when you see the numbers just there staring back at you in black and white. And when you're looking at the step count numbers, and then you also see the number of calories that you burned, and you know that that meal that you ate earlier was more calories than you've actually burned in the entire day, it's hard to deny those kind of facts. So by knowing this information, it encourages users to actually get more activity into their day. Knowledge is power, and over 10 years ago, Fitbit gave me the knowledge that I needed to get my power back. And to me, that is the main reason women over the age of 50 really need to be wearing a fitness tracker. And another reason is safety and security. Some trackers have safety features like fall detection and emergency calling, which can be particularly beneficial for older people. And I just want to say, when it comes to safety, from what I've learned from people I've talked to and what I've read online, Apple wins in this area, hands down. But with so many options of fitness trackers, which one should you choose? And I would just like to say here, I know there are a ton of fitness trackers out on the market. I chose the 4 that I did because I know them to be the most reliable. I didn't want a no-name product or some brand that I had no experience with, and I didn't know anybody with any experience with them. So I chose brands that I have seen, I have watched people I respect using, and I have read a lot of information on. When it comes to the pros and cons of different fitness trackers, to be honest, most of them are quite similar across the board. But I sat down and wrote my pros and cons for the Fitbit and the Oura Ring. And then I talked to my daughter and to my sister about their feelings about the Whoop and the Apple. And my sister has worn Fitbit, Whoop, and Apple. My daughter has worn Apple and Fitbit. And I have worn Fitbit and Aura. So I think we have a good array of experience with the different trackers. Here's what I loved about the Fitbit. Fitbit has been with me for a long time, and I am an incredibly loyal person. So I feel a great loyalty and devotion to Fitbit. I have found on average, I've replaced them every 2 years. Fitbit got me moving. It was my entrance into the fitness tracker world, and it changed my life. It made me aware of my sleep issues. I like the quick access I have to information just right on my wrist, and how I can just go to it whenever I want to know how many steps I have, how many calories have I burned, those kinds of things, or even if I need the time or somebody just texted me. I do like having that information there. The other thing I like, that's why I'm carrying a rubber band, is when it comes to using my desk with my treadmill, with my Oura Ring, I can't track the steps. But with my Fitbit, I'm able to take it. I put a rubber band on the end of it like this. I put it around my ankle, and then I just loop the rubber band through through one of the holes, and then I pull it back and hook it onto the hook here. And that way, I'm able to be on the treadmill while I'm working and still get my step count in. What I love about Oura, yes, you do pay a monthly subscription fee, but I'm going to tell you, I've only been on this for 6 months. I've had so many updates on that feature, and every time the updates are spectacular. Aura seems to just be so invested in creating a healthier and happier world. And I am loving every single update. So valuable, so useful, and so easy to understand and follow. I have learned more about my health since I started wearing the Oura Ring, and it is helping me to take more control of my health and to make greater improvements. And let's face it, the Oura Ring's just prettier. When it comes to like style and fashion, the fitness trackers are just bulky and ugly. I mean, there's nothing feminine and pretty about them, unless you get like one of the flashy bands with the Apple, but still, it's just big and bulky. And I'm teeny tiny wristed. I just look silly with all the bulk. But I like the pretty, pretty ring. And it comes in different finishes. And so I like white, gold, and silver. So that worked for me. But you can get different finishes that work for you. But I like that it's more of a jewelry feel, because I don't know if you noticed, but I kind of like jewelry. I also love the fact this thing charges for a long time. Like, it's good for like 7 days. And then when you do have to charge it, it's like 20 minutes and the thing is charged fully. And it warns you a lot before it's out of charge. And I appreciate that, because I am an out of sight, out of mind, and I completely forget to charge things. My sister loves her Whoop. And a lot of the things that she said she liked, I have found to be standard across the board on all 4 of these fitness trackers, like following her sleep. She likes getting the heart rate variation reading, which I just started getting also with the Oura Ring. I don't get that with Fitbit, and I don't know if you get that with Apple. I haven't heard anybody talking about that with Apple, and I've never seen it with Fitbit. She also likes that it links to MyFitnessPal if you're tracking your calories. I know my Fitbit does that. I haven't checked to see if Oura does it because I don't care. And I know that the Apple Watch does that also. And she likes checking, being able to see her stress levels and things like that. Now, what my daughter loves about the Apple Watch, she says it tracks a lot of health stuff. And since she had been a Fitbit user since childhood, she is very aware that the Apple Watch was giving her a lot more health information than the Fitbit did. And she felt it was much more accurate. She also likes that it connects to her phone. And she said that that's really great to be able to see messages when they come in, or to receive calls, even if she's not near her phone or if her phone is silenced. And it also tells her if she has left the house without her phone. And she loves that you can customize the face with a picture. For heart health, I have learned the Apple and the Whoop both have ECG features. So I think that is really beneficial for people who are concerned about heart health. My sister wanted to share what she liked about the Apple was having everything in one place. And then she liked the fact that the activity tracker could connect to her daughter, so she could be competing with her daughter on step count and things like that. And my daughter and I used to do that too through Fitbit. So I think most of the trackers offer that kind of feature so that you can compete with friends and family and encourage one another to do better. So we can't talk about the pros without talking about the cons. With the Fitbit, some of the things I don't like, I get a rash every time the weather's warm. It's just like, that the warmth and the sweat and everything builds up underneath the band and causes a rash. I don't care for that. I find it bulky because I'm teeny tiny wristed. So I don't like a lot of bulk on my wrist because I feel like I look silly when I have a lot on my wrist. I am from the East Coast, so I talk a lot with my hands. And every time I do that, like I'm getting step count because my hand is moving. And so I feel like that is a little bit dishonest. But at the same time, I can go to the grocery store, push a cart around, and get no steps because my hand's on the cart and not moving by my side. And I find that incredibly frustrating. Like I said, I usually have had my Fitbit for about 2 years, and about a year and a half in is when it starts causing me trouble. And when it causes trouble and shuts down, it is a pain in the neck to get back up again. And every time I forget what it was I did the last time, and I just find it incredibly frustrating when that happens. And I find it takes a long time to recharge, and I just find that annoying. Like I wish it could zap a little faster than it does. But if I want it fully recharged, it takes a good hour to do it. But when I do it does last for several days. I charge mine about 2 times a week. When it comes to the Aura, the things I don't like are the fact that I can't see any information. Like if I want any information, I have to go to my phone and open the app and look. Not a big issue, but still, if you just want to know the time, that's kind of annoying. And I can't get an accurate step count when I'm working at my treadmill desk because it's on my finger and I'm typing. So I'm not getting that movement to get the step count. And I'm so competitive. It's really hard for me to let go of that number. I really like the number. I like winning. So if my goal is 15,000 steps, I want to see that I got 15,000 steps. Like I want to see that number. And I'm just weird that way. With the Whoop, cons, it's bulky. Not as bulky as an Apple Watch, but still it would be very bulky for me. And again, no face. You can't see anything. So to me, if I'm going to have something on my wrist, doggone it, you better be telling me something. Like I want to see a number on you. I want to know what's going on in the world if you're there. So I don't want all of that width on my wrist without any information. I'd rather have the little thing around my finger and I have to look at my phone for information than to have this big band on my arm and then have to look at my phone for information. I mean, because that could be a diamond bracelet instead of a band, right? I mean, if you're going to have something on your wrist, it might as well be pretty. And the cons, I love my daughter's response. When I wrote my daughter and asked her for her pros and cons on the Apple Watch, she's just so stinking adorable. So this was her answer. She said, kind of feel like it may give me wrist cancer, but who knows? Oh, I love her. She says it's a little bit bulky, but not awful. She also complained that the Siri on it will just randomly respond to things that she's talking about. She said similar to how her phone does that. And she said that's just one of her complaints about Apple in general. For me, I would say a negative, the reason I could not wear an Apple Watch, I am so ADHD. I would be completely distracted by all of the activities I could get involved with. Like it would be a nightmare for me to wear that to church. I could never, ever concentrate in church if I had a little computer on my wrist. That would just be horrible. So I just can't see how my ADHD brain could handle the constant notifications and updates and phone calls and texts and everything. It's just too much. I can't even process how I would live like that. And my sister's cons for the Apple was that it was bulky. And she also felt like it's harder to disconnect from the world when you have the world on your wrist. So she likes the fact that the Whoop does not distract her. and that, it's just there, and she has to go to her phone for the information, and she can be with loved ones and not be distracted by the outside world. So let's look at the cost breakdown. When it comes to cost, Fitbit, hands down, wins it. You can buy a new Fitbit for anywhere between $160 to $200. It's a one-time fee. There's no monthly subscription. You can do Fitbit Premium for a monthly subscription of less than $10, I believe. But I've never done that. I've used a Fitbit for a long time with just the standard information. And so, you can do the premium and get a lot more health information that way. The Apple Watch will run you anywhere from $299 to $399. Now, you don't have to have a monthly subscription with that either. But I think if you want more connectivity between your devices, you need to do the $10 plan, which you would do through your cell phone carrier. The Oura Ring runs anywhere from $299 to $399, depending on what version of the ring you get and what finish you get. Then you're going to be looking at $6 a month for the subscription service. But can I tell you, I hate subscriptions. I hate them. I hate monthly cost on everything. I did not think I would be able to tolerate a monthly subscription fee. But I feel like that $6 a month has been completely worth it. I mean, completely. I have learned so much about my health that I will happily pay the $6 a month so that I can keep learning and growing and getting healthier and stronger. And the Whoop typically has cost about $240 for the year when you consider the band and the subscription. Now, performance results. Here's what I pick. If you're a beginner or a budgeter, go for the Fitbit. Fitbit has served me well for many years. If all you're looking to do is to dip your little toe into the fitness tracker world, go with a Fitbit. And you can even get a cheaper version of the Fitbit. You don't have to go with the Fitbit Charge 6 like I have. But I will say, if you're a woman over the age of 50 and your eyesight just isn't what it used to be, I cannot imagine going any smaller than the Fitbit Charge 6. That's why I got up to this one, was because I was getting blinder and blinder as I got older. So just saying, woman over 50, don't go with the small-faced Fitbit. You'll regret it because you'll be going, what? Beginner or budgeter, go for the Fitbit. Get control of your health. Learn the value of a fitness tracker, and then decide from that point on. Maybe you want to upgrade to something else like I did. For best overall health transformation, I have to say goes to the Oura. I think that Oura just does an exceptional job of not only notifying you about your body, but letting you know how to fix those problems. From like resources and papers and stats and helpful things that they send you. They now have AI where you can interact and say, how can I fix this problem based on my numbers? Now they also have this meal plan thing where you can take a picture of your plate and it will tell you how balanced your plate is. Come on. It just gets better and better all the time. I just think if you are obsessed with health the way I am, Oura is the way to go. The Apple Watch is best for iPhone users. Now, I am an iPhone user, but I know how addicted I can get to my phone. I don't need it on my wrist. But if you love your Apple products, Apple Watches are great. I mean, people do enjoy them. They're not for me, but they may be for you. I will also say, when it comes to heart-associated issues, if you're worried about your heart, I would definitely go with Apple or Whoop. And after all of my research, even though my sister is by far not a serious athlete, we are not serious athletes in our family, but Whoop, hands down, across the board, everything I read was chosen for serious athletes. So if you're a serious athlete, by all means, go for the Whoop. Now, we can't talk about the pros and the cons and everything about fitness trackers without talking about the safety. And here's what shocked me most: the radiation levels. I was at a family graduation party last weekend, and my niece is also very health obsessed. And she looked at me in horror and could not believe that I was wearing 2 fitness trackers. And she's like, Aunt Carrie, the radiation, this. I'm like, what? So I leave the party and I go and get online and I start looking up radiation levels. And I was shocked at what I found. And no pun intended, because like some of them will shock you. Anyway, like literally, like physically, you can get shocked by some of these fitness bands. So I look it up and I find that there is an SAR rating. SAR means specific absorption rate. And it is a rating that is required by the FCC by any cell phone or tracking device. So they have a certain standard you cannot exceed, and you have to fall below a certain number in order to be approved to be sold in the US. And so I looked up each device, and this is what I discovered. The Oura Ring is the safest when it comes to radiation at a rate of 0.0003. And if you want it to be 0, if you want to have no SAR rating at all you have to do is put your phone in airplane mode. Your ring will still be collecting the data. It won't be showing any radiation until you turn the phone off of airplane mode. And then your information will be updated and you can get your current and accurate information. The Whoop comes in at 0.48 to 0.67. Not great, but not horrifying. And I read no studies or anything about anybody being shocked or anything by a Whoop, nor did I read that for the Oura Ring. The Fitbit, on the other hand, I could not find numbers on the Fitbit. All I could find was that they are in compliance with the FCC standards. And that means that they're just not exceeding the number that the FCC says they can't exceed. Now, I did find a lot of reports of charges where people have gotten burned or shocked by their Fitbit. Like I said, I've been a Fitbit user for over 10 years. I have never had an issue, and I have had many of their products. But it is a very real thing, and Fitbit claims that they follow up with every complaint and make it right. Now let's talk the Apple Watch. My daughter not long ago expressed her concern for, cancer from this Apple Watch. And so she stopped sleeping with it at night. And I'm really grateful that she did that, especially after I learned that the SAR rating on the Apple Watch is equal to that of the SAR rating on the iPhone 14, which I'm currently filming on. Yeah, and I don't know about you, but because I'm the canary in the cave, I tend to not ever have a phone up next to my head. I don't keep them in my pockets. I don't keep them close on my body. I don't even like the fact that right now my computer is sitting on my lap while I'm doing this video. It drives me nuts to ever have a computer or an electronic of any type sitting near my body parts. I just don't like it. And so I'm really grateful that I have stayed away from Apple Watches, because for me, I probably would be negatively affected by that level of SAR. The SAR is 1.15 for the Apple Watch. So if you are wearing the Apple Watch, I just beg you, don't wear it at night. If you want to track your sleep, use another tracker for tracking your sleep at night. Because, I just think the risk of that when you're, sleeping on your arm or it's on your private parts, like, do you want that? You want that laying on your boob? Like, I don't think so. Just, don't do that. And let's talk about some health implications. Ew, like one of them, I don't even want to tell you because it grossed me out so bad. But bacteria on plastic bands of fitness trackers, like life-threatening disease bacteria, like E. coli and some other ones that I can't say. But ew, I've been cleaning my band like all the time ever since I read that. I am very grossed out. Now, that is not an issue with the Oura Ring because it's titanium based. So it doesn't have that issue. But if your band is plastic and not metal, clean it all the time. Clean it. It's disgusting. Trust me, disgusting. Look up the article. It's gross. There's also the, radiation. You can get burns from this radiation. That's a health implication we want to be thinking about. I would love to know what your thoughts are on the claims that fitness trackers are emitting radiation. Let me know in the comments below. Now that you know all about fitness trackers, the pros and the cons and the health implications and everything involved, how about if you could get one for free? So before you pull out your credit card, let me save you some serious money with these insider tips. If you are fortunate enough to have an FSA or an HSA account, did you know you can use that to buy a fitness tracker? True story. So take advantage of your FSA and HSA accounts to get devices that can improve your life. Check with your providers first to make sure that they approve the purchases through those accounts. Number 2, check your Medicare plan. Did you know some Medicare plans will cover the cost of a fitness tracker? They consider it a benefit. So do I. So call the number on the back of your Medicare card and see what their wellness benefits are. Tip number 3, check your insurance wellness program. Many employers offer wellness reimbursements. Some insurances give discounts for using trackers. And check with your HR department about fitness incentive programs. Tip number 4, use your credit card rewards. You can use cashback credit cards for electronic devices like fitness trackers. Some cards offer extra points for health-related purchases. And tip number 5, always time your purchase. For me, I have always bought my Fitbits on Black Friday or Cyber Monday. It saves a significant amount of money. You can also look for when new models are released because the older models will be reduced in price. And then you can use your end-of-year FSA and HSA deadlines for making your purchases. I know my sister just did a big end-of-year purchase on her husband's FSA account because it had to be used up by the end of June. So, take advantage of those deadlines and do something to improve your health. Here's the bottom line. If you are a woman over the age of 50 and you are not tracking your health, you are flying blind. I went from barely being able to walk to being able to do a 25,000 step challenge. And my friend Jen is alive today because her Apple Watch detected her heart irregularities. Your health is your wealth, and it's time to invest in it. If you're ready to take control of your health, I have listed the 4 fitness trackers I talked about today in the description below, along with my recommendations. But first, I want to know which tracker caught your attention. Drop a comment below and let me know, are you Team Fitbit, Team Oura, Team Whoop, or Team Apple? I can't wait to hear your answer. And if this video helped you to make a decision about fitness trackers, would you smash that like button and subscribe to my channel for more content that helps women over 50 to live their best lives? Your future self will thank you for it. And if you want to learn more information about counting your steps and doing step challenges, you can watch this video right here. And until next time, get up, get moving, and carry on.